Atomic Monsoon.
Welcome to the Monsoon. Hello, and welcome to Atomic Monsoon.
Oh, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be talking some busting, right?
I mean, busting makes me feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, the only news we have is that Endgame is number 2 now.
Yeah, it's literally the only news in the world. It's Endgame.
Number 2.
And then whether or not you're giving spoilers for Endgame. And if it's okay to spoil Endgame yet.
Spoilers, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers, Detective Pikachu's out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess is that news?
If you're a Pokemon fan, it is.
Like Detective Pikachu, yeah.
Okay.
They did post a really funny, Ryan Reynolds earlier in the week put it up a thing that was like, hey, you know, at all the pictures departments and everything, the director, everybody like, hey, there's a leak. And on the thing it said, you know, Detective Pokemon full movie, YouTube, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it linked to
an hour and a half of Pikachu dancing.
Yeah, the first minute of the movie. And then an hour and a half of Pikachu doing a parody of the sketch from Key and Peele where they parodied the 82 aerobics championship.
Yep.
That's
It was
fantastic.
Pikachuception all over the place there.
Hey, guys, guess who fell for that?
You.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, okay.
As soon as I saw the Ryan Reynolds thing, I was like, oh, crap. I clicked on it real quick to see if it was a legitimate, like, did they take it down yet? And like, how long is this going to be up there?
Uh-huh.
And I clicked about halfway through just to see if it was an actual movie. And I just see little dancing. And I was
Pikachu
like,
dancing. Yep.
Wait a minute. Clicked a little further forward.
Yep.
Oh, you got me.
Yep.
Got me good.
So it's the new Rick roll, except it's called the Pikachu Ryan roll.
Yeah, it is. It was
Pika
fantastic
roll.
though.
Pika
There was
roll.
people posting videos of like the 3 things all together where they're doing the same moves and everything.
Oh,
It
boy.
was pretty funny.
But we're not here to talk about Pikachu today.
Pika.
No, I mean,
No.
unless you guys want us to sometime, let us know.
Yeah, I
On our
mean,
social
we can
medias,
try and talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Stephanie probably knows more about Pokemon than Josh and I combined. But
Yes, but still not enough as many
Probably.
people.
well, sure. I mean,
I
everyone's
played
going to know
some
more
games.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my boat. I played some games. I watched some of the show. I have some plush. That's it.
Most of
Yeah.
my Pokemon knowledge comes from Smash Brothers, quite honestly.
Dating me, the show was new in America when I was getting. It was towards the end of my high school life.
Yeah, I think it came out when I was a
I
junior.
watched a little bit of the show because I would be getting home from practice and be like at that point where I'm barely awake and kind of
Yeah.
eating, and there's something on the TV after school.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, Pokemon, okay.
Yeah.
Right there on the couch.
Yeah, exactly. So I distinctly remember the theme song.
Oh, the theme song's fantastic.
Yeah.
I even know the second verse that gets edited out of the TV version.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't know that was
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah. I'm not going to sing it because it'll be off key.
Well, we might have to post that somewhere hidden and see if people can find it.
Maybe. Not.
No.
It's not gonna
All right, but we're talking about busting? Like
We're-
myth busting?
Kind of. It depends on how you feel about ghosts.
Yeah.
So myth busting.
I mean,
Well, there's a whole nother conversation for another time.
some people in canon believe that. Yeah.
Yeah?
Such as Walter Peck.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, we're talking Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
We're going to talk about the Ghostbusters. I got
And not the you know, the cartoon with the gorilla running around.
No, the Filmation Ghostbusters will not be part of today's
No.
discussion, except
And
for
it's-
right now.
And it's not the Bob Hope movie Ghost Breakers,
No.
which no one ever confuses.
And nor is it the parody nobody remembers called Ghostbusters.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're just going to have to Google that sometime.
I will.
But no, Ghostbusters with, Peter Venkman and
Some of
and
Second
Dr. Ray
City's
Stantz.
finest?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them. And Ernie Hudson.
Yeah?
Yep.
Bill Murray.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah?
And
The Rick Moranis.
the one and only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dark Helmet himself. Yeah. You know what's great about Rick Moranis?
What?
Well, about Louis Tully, the character he plays.
What's that?
He is the key master. But throughout the entire movie, he's getting locked out of doors.
He's not the lock master.
No,
He's the key
he's
master.
the key master, but he can't open a door.
Yeah, it's
Every
fantastic.
door in the movie, he never opens
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Okay.
It is. I never thought about that. I never noticed that. In the whole movie, he does. He gets locked out of everything all the time.
He gets locked out of his apartment a couple times. He gets locked out of the restaurant with the terror
that was
dogs.
before he was the keymaster, though.
It's true. Yeah.
He didn't.
But,
I don't remember him having that problem once he was the keymaster.
well, there weren't a lot of doors for him after that, you know.
He was busting them down.
Yeah, he was busting doors.
Well, you assume he had to hit at least a couple doors after he walks away from the fire station, right?
I mean,
but that's getting further ahead of ourselves.
Right.
Let's talk
right.
earlier.
Yeah. So
Ghostbusting.
But wait, before we get to that,
Yes.
FM Records?
Right. So, hey, thanks to our pals at Def M Records, who provided our excellent theme music. Also, on May 24th, which is Phoenix Comic Con weekend, or what's it called now? Fan Fusion. Phoenix Fan Fusion. That weekend,
Days Con Carne.
Saturday night, the Saturn III of Def M Records will be having their debut show at the Phoenix Film Bar. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you like some cool rock and roll or you like our music, head on down to the Film Bar on May 24th. Tickets are available through the Film Bar's website, which is thefilmbarphx.com, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, go check them out. I will be there.
Awesome.
I will be representing us and, myself and friends of our podcast.
Yay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing that then. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so we're talking about Ghostbusters.
So Ghostbusters, yeah, Def M Records didn't do a Ghostbusters cover that I'm aware of. So we should talk to them about that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yes. Josh, how did you find Ghostbusters?
I don't remember exactly. I just remember Ghostbusters always kind of being there.
Okay.
To be honest,
Okay.
I
The first movie came out in 84,
84,
right?
yeah. So I would have been 3.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of been around.
kind of always been there,
it's always
yeah.
kind of been there.
Yeah.
So, and I've always loved Ghostbusters.
Excellent.
I mean,
Yeah.
what's not to love?
Well, there are things, but we'll get into that later.
Shenanigans.
Stephanie, how did you find Ghostbusters?
I have to go back as far as I possibly can into my memory.
Yeah. Because by the time you were around, both movies and the cartoon series were had come out and were finished.
Yeah.
So
I would say, and it's probably what a lot of people my generation would say,
Sure.
is I came walking into the room, my parents were sitting there watching it.
yeah.
I sat and watched it with them.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. And I left the room. Until the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was there. That was the only part I could stand as a child.
Interesting.
The only part I could stand, because he was a giant walking marshmallow.
The
Everybody's got that spots in movies where it freaks them out
Sure.
as a kid.
Right.
And
Right.
I remember being
this is-
just scared to death of One-Eyed Willie's eye patch reveal as a kid, but then my mom and I would watch horror movies.
Sure. Right.
To be
Actual
fair-
horror movies, that'd be
Right.
perfectly fine.
To be fair, Josh, when I saw the Ghostbusters for the first time was still when I was afraid of the Wicked Witch of the West. This is before
That's
my
fair.
Star Wars time,
That's
so
fair. That's fair.
this is pre-Star Wars for Stephanie.
Yeah, and the special effects in Ghostbusters with the practical effects that they used, I
Yeah.
can see where that.
Well,
probably could have been
everything is
kinda crazy.
all wet and gooey and moist and gross.
Yeah.
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 But as a kid, I had already seen other crazy Jim Henson stuff by then. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Ghostbusters was no.
Yeah. Yeah. I was introduced to Ghostbusters through the cartoon series, actually.
Interesting.
The real
Oh.
Ghostbusters. Yeah. Because that would have been coming out when I was probably in kindergarten. And it was the hot, Transformers was ending, and G.I. Joe was probably over by that point, and so Ninja Turtles hadn't started, so Ghostbusters was the next big thing. Amongst my friends on the playground and stuff, and so we got hooked on that, and I bought a bunch of the toys, and later we found out there was a movie, and I don't remember when I first saw the movie. I may have seen the second movie first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I remember seeing the second movie in theaters and being really young when that came out.
Okay.
I think it was 89 when Ghostbusters 2 came out, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would have
around
been
5 years later.
Yeah, just like the beginning of the movie says. But I don't know. I remember seeing Ghostbusters 2 in theaters, and I don't know if I had seen the first one yet. But obviously I knew. I mean, you can watch.
Yeah, I
a couple
remember my
episodes of the
parents taking me to
cartoon.
see the second one in theaters.
Yeah.
I remember that was a big thing when it was coming out. I was excited to see it.
I had a Ghostbusters lunchbox for a while.
Yeah.
Like one of the little plastic thermos ones, right? It was red and had the sticker of the real Ghostbusters on it.
I remember I wore out the VHS copy that my parents had gotten us, like just everything on it, the tape itself, the box, because it was the one that it was actually opened and you had to pull it out. It was an actual box, not just
not the slipcase.
VHS sleeve. So I broke the tab on that. Like kid, just ripped that off a long time before that.
Yeah.
And it was a sleeve thing, and then that thing wore out. Just had the case or the cassette, and then eventually that snapped from getting watched so many times.
Wow.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I loved Ghostbusters when I was a kid. It's a great franchise. I mean, it's one of those things that appealed to adults and children because the humor was so well done.
Right.
That there was the funny things that kids obviously got, and it appealed to them, and there was the subtle humor that obviously the adults were getting that the kids weren't. And then it had the special effects that were just captivating. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, come on now. Every kid loved that when they saw it.
Mm-hmm. It's true, because he's a giant thing of marshmallows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I had no idea what the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was when I was a kid, he was a giant thing of marshmallows.
Yeah. I love that if you, I mean, and I'm sure everyone has seen this at this point, but like I didn't notice it until a couple years ago because, that's at a certain point you stop watching the parts you're supposed to watch and you start looking at the background parts of the movies, right? And I love the scene early in the movie when Dana's putting her groceries away. There is a bag of Stay Puft marshmallows on her counter. Huh. Yeah, and it's got the Marshmallow Man like sitting there, waving at you like, hey, buy my marshmallows. And
that's funny.
Looking like the Michelin Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you also notice things when you've watched them a million times when you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is the full screen version. No wonder it's kind of jarring because they have the awkward camera
pan and scans. Yeah.
Oh, man. Especially the part that's so jarring for me is when they're in part 2. Okay. They're in the baby's bedroom.
Yes.
And there's a spot where it's panning between the characters because in the widescreen,
right, because they're so far apart. Right.
Where in there, though, like Egon turns and says something to Ray or somebody, and then it shifts over, and then they say something, it shifts back again. It's just so jarring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The old days of full screen. And I mean, that brings back memories of working at Blockbuster when everything started shifting to widescreen format and people complaining. I was like, I don't like the black bars at the top and the bottom of my screen. And I would respond, but that means you're seeing the whole picture.
Yeah.
But the picture's not full. And I was like, no, but you are, because before they'd cut the sides off and you'd be missing part of the movie. And
there's something the younger generation never has to deal with.
Yeah.
Trying to explain to people the difference between full screen and widescreen.
Right.
Well, now because now everything is filmed to fit your TV.
Mostly. I mean, TVs are wider now.
TVs are made more to fit a full screen image than things are shot to fit your TV. Because actually, it used to be things were shot to fit your TV.
Yes.
That was why they had the full screen format, was because they were shooting TV shows and things like that in that format to fit television.
Yeah.
And then the opposite was true with film, so that's where you get those weird
those weird pan and scans.
And eventually people started to become enough of a snob and
just aware.
And purists and aware of it and just and started going, no, we don't want that. And manufacturers started putting things out and making it a little bit better. And
and then widescreen started selling better.
And I also say a lot of when they were going back and updating a lot of old films and bringing them back, and when there's the whole colorizing debate and things like that, a lot of that also helped push forward a lot of the changes for widescreen, full screen, things like that.
So what are some of our favorite movies? Ugh, excuse me. We can edit that out. What are some of each?
We're leaving it now. We're leaving it.
Perfect. What are some of each of our favorite moments of the first Ghostbusters movie?
That opening part with the first ghost man.
Yeah, with the library ghost?
Yeah, that's iconic.
Yeah.
It is a moment in film history. It really is. It's
that scene has one of my favorite quotes, which is, but right before they see the lady, the lady ghost, they're creeping around the corner, and Ray goes, "Listen, do you guys smell something?"
Wait, what?
It's like, Ray, those are two different senses. That's not.
He's so excited he forgot how his body works.
Right. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. That scene's really good. Stephanie, how about you?
Again, I'm thinking on this one.
Sure.
I'm going to have to say, even though I've been saying, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I have to say it is that point where it's like they've just defeated, they did what they needed to do, and now they're sitting there waiting, and they're like, okay, don't think about anything. Like, just clear your mind. Don't think about anything. Thud.
Ray.
Immediately looks to Ray. What did you think about?
Yeah, Ray, what did you do?
What'd you do?
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Just that, even as a child, that part was funny.
Yeah, and when he starts going on his rant, I'm trying to think of the most innocuous thing I can think of. He's just rambling, talking about the Stay Puft Marshmallow.
I loved him as a kid.
Yeah.
Me and Mr. Stay Puft used to roast marshmallows by the fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than anything else that could have marched the street. It could have been Godzilla.
It could have been much worse.
Oh, yeah.
So that I would have to say that part just because it always makes me laugh when I think back on it.
It was the whole monkey's paw of it that was great too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, how could it be mean?
Something that could never hurt us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here he is crushing things and smiling about it.
Yeah.
It was great.
I think Walter Peck might be my favorite part of the first Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Right?
It's true. This man has no dick.
I had a brain fart on the actor's name.
Oh, Jesus. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
He and Bill Murray had such a good back and forth.
Good. Yes.
That I don't know of them ever being in any other movies together, but they should have been. They were fantastic in those scenes going back, especially when they, in the mayor's office and everything else. Just
William Atherton.
There we go.
The actor's
William
name.
Atherton. Yeah.
Don't you have a fancy name?
Wow. No, the thing that I love about Walter Peck is that he is absolutely right.
He is.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he's from the Environmental Protection Agency. And he just shows up and he's like, I need to make sure you guys aren't doing anything that's going to damage the environment. Now, he goes about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? But that first scene where he shows up and meets Peter and, they have their back and forth and he's like, do you have this on your premises? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, can I see this ghost facility? No. And why not, Mr. Venkman? And I also love that he dickishly refers to Dr. Peter Venkman as Mr. Venkman every single time they talk.
That's fantastic.
Right? It's a nice little subtle tinge that they throw in there.
Yep.
But yeah, I love that in like the and Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis wrote the movie, right?
Yeah.
But I love that they were like, hey, the EPA would probably get involved with this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out he ends up being the catalyst for the climax of the movie and everything, which is great. But the fact that they thought of putting that character in there, the fact that he is absolutely 100% right in everything he does except for shutting down the containment grid. And then he gets his comeuppance at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good, well-recognized character. Well-developed. Everything about that is fantastic.
No, I thought they did good with all the character development in it.
For sure.
It's even like when I bring it back to that first scene, there was subtle character development instantly with the main three characters that you're going at. Just as they're going into that library, you get Egon. Obviously, he's the super brainy part. He's in there examining the woman and everything. You get immediate jokes from Peter Venkman. He's coming through. You got
wiping the slime from his fingers on the other books and stuff. Yeah,
just way too much exposition from Ray. It's fantastic. You get all three of their personalities immediately. You know where you stand with all of them, and they do that for every single character through it. Even Winston, when if there's a paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you want.
Right.
Immediately you get like, hey, okay.
All right.
I wasn't even there. I just work with them.
You're right.
Yeah. It makes Winston immediately the most relatable character in movies, in my opinion, ever.
It's interesting because originally the Winston Zeddemore character was written for Eddie Murphy.
Oh, wow.
And Eddie
Murphy... That
would
have been a whole different movie.
It would have been a very different movie. And Eddie Murphy declined. He decided not to do the movie for whatever reason, right?
I mean, yeah.
He was Eddie Murphy
it was the height of Eddie Murphy's career, so I'm sure he had way too much stuff going on.
Yeah. Strangely, Ghostbusters would have been a step down for Eddie Murphy, which is a weird sentence in 2019.
Right.
But in 1984, totally made sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ernie Hudson signed on, and apparently the Winston Zeddemore character originally had more development. He was going to be like an ex-Marine. And
that would make things interesting.
Yeah, there was like a whole lot more backstory during the initial interview, and by the time the movie finally got cut down, all we got was, if there's a paycheck involved, I'll believe anything you want. And apparently Ernie Hudson was pretty disappointed by that.
Well, and that's kind of a gunny thing to say anyway. So.
I mean, it is. It is. Yeah.
You can still put that entire background on Winston and it would...
It doesn't...
It still makes sense. Yeah, it still works.
None of that changes his character at all.
No.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's cool development.
It even kind of adds a little bit to the character just for when he was sitting there, tell him about the Twinkie with a cigarette in his hand.
Right.
Tell him about the Twinkie.
Yeah,
Why isn't
it
that
totally
a
makes
t-shirt?
sense.
Yeah.
Is that a T-shirt? Tell them about the Twinkie.
We can make it one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can
Ghostbusters.
the Twinkie be smoking a cigarette, though? That's the question.
The Twinkie. I can draw a Twinkie doing whatever we want, guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 years later.
Yeah, an interesting dichotomy with that. A lot of people hate that movie.
So many
And a
people hate
lot of
Ghostbusters
people
2.
like it more than the first one. And then you got most people in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's find out where we are.
Okay. Well, so Stephanie, you just watched Ghostbusters 2 last night.
It's still semi-fresh in my brain.
Yeah.
So I realized I have watched Ghostbusters 2 before.
Uh-huh.
It was a very long time ago. And it
Sure.
was another one of those, I walk in, my parents are watching it, I watch
Right.
a little bit, I walk out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, just never completely grasped in my brain that was the same movie. So to be fair, I actually thought 1 and 2 were the same movie when I was growing up.
That's
Okay,
completely reasonable.
yeah,
if you're walking in and you're only seeing parts of it, they're similar enough that.
Well,
Yeah.
that also in all 5
You could
characters,
probably
all 4
even-
characters didn't age in like 5
Yeah.
years.
Right.
Well, and you could probably cut those movies up and make one unique movie out of the two of them.
you
True,
probably
you could've.
could, actually, yeah.
Yeah. But I
Have diverging storylines. Like you could get crazy with it if you really wanted to.
Talented listeners, get on it.
Yep.
Make a 2.5 hour version of Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
There we
Yep.
go.
There we go.
We'll call it Ghostbusters 3.
0.5.
Sure.
3.5.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Yes.
Ghostbusters 3, Electric Boogaloo.
There we go.
Oh, God. So I don't know. Because it's still fresh in my brain from last
Yeah.
night, and I haven't watched it enough to really develop a favorite part.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
But I will definitely say the part that's always stuck with me, even back when I only saw clips and pieces, was the painting.
Just Vigo?
Just Vigo the painting.
Yeah.
Because that was probably one of the few instances where I was not entirely freaked out by the film. But I was just like, oh, that painting's alive. I've seen enough Scooby-Doo to know there's probably a guy behind it type thing.
What part, or I guess scene of the painting was it that stuck out to you? The part where it's his like face talking? Was it just the actual painting of Vigo standing there?
I think it's
or-
just the painting of Vigo
Just
has
in
just
general?
always
Okay.
been like implanted in the back of my brain. And now seeing the movie and adding those other pieces to it, I'm like, yeah, no, I have seen part of this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been just the Vigo scenes that I've seen.
Interesting. Okay.
And obviously, I think I've also seen I remember the courthouse moment, and then I remember
Right.
the end fight, like the ending, like big
Okay.
brawl and
Yep.
battle. Like
Yep.
that's all I remembered.
Yep.
And then when I watched the movie last night, there were things that I'm glad I didn't watch as a child. It probably would have actually prevented me from ever watching it again.
Like the part when they're walking through the abandoned subway tunnels and
Yes.
suddenly there's a bunch of severed heads on pikes.
Yes,
Yeah, that
I
is-
screeched when the skeleton popped out in Raiders of the Lost Ark when they
Yeah.
stuck their hand in the light.
Yeah, I mean, having seen Ghostbusters 2 in theaters, as a little kid, it's so much of that memory. Some of the movie is just like stuck in my memories. But looking back on it now, I watched it last week before I knew we were going to do this, or after whatever. That scene where there's just a bunch of severed heads and the tunnel's yelling like Winston and everything. That scene's terrifying. It doesn't affect me because I've seen it so many times, but thinking man, I don't know if I must have been scared when I saw this because that's just a bunch of weird, bloody, gross heads on
Yep.
spikes in the dark, in a tunnel, saying your name.
See, what's funny is the part that I was more scared of was when they were pulling him back up the hole when the slime and pulled on him. I was just going, oh, he's going to hit all those pipes on the way back up. Oh my God.
And then he did.
And then there goes the power.
Yeah.
Oh, God, there's so many good parts in Ghostbusters 2. My favorite line, though, is the first time we see Vigo, where he says, how does it go? On a mountain of skulls, in a castle of pain, I sat on a throne of blood.
Yeah, that's a very ominous opening line.
Dude, that's the most badass person in history. Real or fictional. How do you have a castle made of pain?
Or a throne made of blood.
Right. What game did he win for that
Yeah,
throne?
right.
You know?
He rolled a lot of d20s.
Yeah.
Something.
He, Mother of Dragons, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's the throne at the end of Game of Thrones. It's a throne of blood.
Throne of blood in a castle of pain on
Spoiler
a mountain
alert.
of skulls. Yeah, and it's Vigo. Yeah,
And it's Vigo.
Yeah.
sitting there.
Vigo should totally be the final boss in Game of Thrones.
Yes, just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, it's Vigo.
Right.
Vigo was the real Night King.
Yeah.
And then they combine the two universes together, which means Game of Thrones and Ghostbusters are in the same universe.
Yeah.
Done.
That's
we go.
canon now.
Hey, we already know that DoorDash delivers to Westeros because there was
Starbucks.
Yeah, that Starbucks cup. Yeah.
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Apparently it was Sansa's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It was
Even better.
It was Sophie
It's even
Turner's.
better.
Janosch.
Pumpkin spice lattes.
Not a fan of the pumpkin spice, huh?
Yes, and they're also just way too basic for my liking.
Oh snap.
When it gets to pumpkin spice season and everybody's freaking out about it, and I'm like, this makes me not want it more. The only thing I will eat is like pumpkin spiced muffins. Those are good.
This is gonna get controversial. We need to get back over to Ghostbusters.
Yes.
My favorite part of pumpkin spice is just watching people freak out one way or the other on Facebook.
Yep.
I don't drink coffee anyways, so
Yeah.
Same.
Janosch though, how great is Janosch Poha?
Oh man, that actor is so.
Peter McNichol.
Yeah, everything he's done, I've loved watching him in.
Yeah.
He is great. And he did such a good job with that character.
He's so creepy.
The physical comedy he did too with it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Josh, what is your favorite moment of the second one? If you have one.
Man, well, when I was a kid, I can remember my favorite part of the second one was the courthouse scene with the Scolari brothers. But as an adult, looking back on that scene was obviously to make toys.
Ironically, there are no toys of the Scolari
No,
brothers.
but that model
which
looks like the toy type of
Yeah,
ghosts.
yeah.
Like it's a definite change in my from what I noticed in the types from the first one to the second one.
Yeah, they're a little bit more cartoony.
Yeah, definitely
They're-
more cartoony, less like corpse-ish looking. Even though they had the heads on the spikes later on.
Right.
Like,
The Scolari brothers are cartoony ghosts in electric chairs.
Yeah, they're definitely more.
Yep.
Look like they're like, oh yeah, we could do toys like this later, and they kind of look like the Garbage Man toy and stuff. Like, kind of that same type of look to them. So, but I loved that scene when I was a kid because that judge screaming and yelling and then. Looking at that thing bubbling and bubbling and bubbling.
Yep.
That was great. That or the toaster dancing. Like those were. I love those as a
dancing
kid.
toaster scene.
Yeah.
The old man-eating toaster trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene's fantastic.
Yeah, I remember just dying at the man-eating toaster thing when I was a kid. I thought that was hilarious.
You're not sleeping with it, are you, Ray?
See,
everyone
didn't
looks
get
at-
that as a kid.
Everyone looks at Egon.
Yeah.
Always the quiet ones. You hound. Yeah. I might have seen these movies a few times, you guys.
Yeah,
Once or
it
twice,
seems
maybe.
like it.
I don't know. What's up?
Maybe once or twice, maybe.
Once or twice.
Like, I figure you perused them a little bit.
Yeah. No, I totally bought the Blu-rays within the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So that I could have them digitally, and I've watched them a few times since then. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Including in this
I
last
bought
week.
Ghostbuster box sets way too many times.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, there's a new one on Blu-ray. Oh, there's a new one on DVD. I remember they first came out on DVD and they were separated, and then they finally put that one together where they had the green box on it. I had to buy that one, and later on they put out a different one. It was like, oh, I can actually get Ghostbusters 2 in widescreen now. Oh, thank
Yay.
goodness.
Yeah.
I bought those movies.
I own the first one on Laserdisc and the second one on DVD.
That's excellent.
And then I was like, I need them both digitally, and then I looked and the digital prices were like $19 a piece, and I was like, well, that's stupid. I'm not paying $19 for each of these movies that I already own. And then I walked into a Best Buy and they had the 2-pack for $10.
Nice.
And I was like,
There you
well,
go.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and it had the digital code.
There you go.
So I won.
Winner.
Yeah.
Chicken dinner?
That's better than fighting a giant demonic painting.
It is. It is.
We haven't talked about Sigourney Weaver.
No, we
we're
haven't.
not.
We haven't talked about Dana Barrett at all.
Who was fantastic.
I
I know, I've been saying that a lot. I love the Ghostbusters movies. They are fantastic movies.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
I didn't realize who she was until...
Last night?
No, I know who Sigourney Weaver is.
Okay.
I did not realize that it was her until I saw Avatar in 2009.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I saw Avatar in 2009, then one day Ghostbusters on was watching it, and I was like, oh, hey, it's a chick from Avatar. Not from Alien, from Avatar. Even though later I realized,
it's
she's
the same
also
girl
an
in
Alien
Alien. And Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
and Spaceballs.
And is she in Spaceballs? She's not.
No, it's not Sigourney Weaver, but it's like her stunt double or something. Like they made like a
okay.
cameo or something.
I was like,
but
I've seen that movie a lot. I don't remember her being in that. I was
No,
like,
but-
was she in costume? What's going on? You just had me racking my brain
no,
like crazy.
it's her stunt double from Aliens because I think the rest of the cast is sitting there when he has like the aliens splurge at him at the diner.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I know it's the same guy from Aliens.
Yeah, they had like the guy that had the chest burster come out in that, and everybody else was dressed
Not
up like the rest of
again.
the cast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, she's kind of this weird sci-fi queen, right?
She
Yeah.
really
like,
is.
having been an Alien and Ghostbuster and Galaxy Quest and Avatar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other roles that I have forgotten because she's been in so many
In
movies.
everything.
She's
Yeah.
been in a lot
Yeah,
of
she's
stuff.
been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
They actually had a
Especially in the 80s and
animatronic
early
of her at
90s.
Disney.
Do they?
Well,
oh,
they
for
did.
the
No.
Avatar land? Or
No.
No.
Avatar.
No.
I don't think they're related at all, are they? Is Disney Avatar
Disney
at all?
has so at Animal Kingdom there is an entire section of the park dedicated to Pandora
Oh wow, I didn't
from
know
Avatar.
that.
But no, Sigourney Weaver. There is no like figurine of her in that ride.
Okay.
Well, in any of those rides or even there, but there is mention to her character.
Okay.
As well, I think in the kind of like intro video to
Sure.
Flight of Passage.
Where was her animatronic, though?
It was originally on the ride, the Great Movie Ride, which was in Hollywood Studios, because they went through all these different films, and there was an alien sequence, and you actually see her hiding, like, I'm gonna die, the alien's right there, I'm gonna die.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, like, you just see her briefly, and then the alien comes from the ceiling, and then that's the end of that section.
Huh.
Okay, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, she was a good character. I do have to say though, her baby in that second movie,
Yeah.
the ugliest baby in a movie ever.
Ugliest?
Yes.
Okay.
Just I don't know what it is about that little baby. Just drives me insane.
The Deutschendorf brothers or whatever don't do it for you?
No. It
Okay.
always drives me nuts. That little baby.
Okay. Oscar.
Yeah.
Poor guy named
Yeah.
after a hot dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, that's the reason. I think the baby was an interesting plot in that story, in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been
And
without.
You can probably answer this.
Yeah.
It's always seemed like they alluded to the fact that she married the guy that she was talking to at the fountain
In the first
movie.
So, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't specify who the husband is at any
Yeah.
point. But yeah,
But don't they mention like the instrument he played, and didn't that guy play that instrument?
was it well, she was a cellist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while.
I don't, I just watched it. I wasn't
I've been
paying
trying to pay
attention.
attention to that spot, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Next time I watch the movies, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no.
I
We gotta
don't
watch
have
Ghostbusters.
time. Con prep.
Well, yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. Doing all your cosplay.
Well, con prep, 2 birthdays, and Mother's Day all this weekend. Go.
Oh yeah, Mother's Day is today when you're listening to this live on
Yes.
Voice America Variety.
So call your mother.
So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Call
Yes.
your mom,
Yes.
tell you love her.
And rest in peace to all the lost moms.
Yes.
Yes.
There are
So either call your
several
mom,
of those.
visit your mom, tell all to-be moms, sisters, wives, whatever. You love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even dogs.
mom.
What was that? It was a ghost. There's a ghost in here.
There was a ghost that just said that he loved his mom.
Our audio engineer, A-Rod.
So
God?
No, don't call him that. It'll go to his head. Speaking of gods,
Yeah.
how about the big bad in the first one?
Gozer?
Yeah.
The Gozerian?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm all for it. Well, Gozer's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because there's all this build up to all the Ivo Shandor creating the cults, the Gozer, and the Central Park West building being like this weird spire and everything. And then Gozer is this lady with a flat top
Yeah.
that waves her hands and shoots lightning.
Which made me wonder, like, is that the form of the destroyer from a previous?
Yeah, it could be.
Is that what that was supposed to be?
I don't know.
That was kind of how I explained it in my head when I was younger.
Yeah.
I've never really looked into it.
Well, because Winston, right, goes, I thought Gozer was a guy. And,
Yeah.
and either Ray or Egon goes, it's whatever it wants to be.
Yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, yeah, it could just be a previous form from another
Yeah.
time of Destructoring.
That maybe there was an MTV signal going through the
Yeah.
area,
wasn't-
and she just like,
she was
hey,
very early MTV.
Yeah.
wasn't Gozer inside of Sigourney Weaver?
That was Zool.
That was
Yes.
Zool that was
Yes.
possessing.
So,
That's right.
so yeah, Ivo Shandor was the architect that created cult that was obsessed with Gozer. Zool was the terror dog that possessed Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
And Vince Clortho was the one that possessed Louis Tully.
Got it. Okay. I need a clarification on that.
Yes. No, it's a lot
that
of...
part always confuses.
It's a lot
always
of
confuses me.
It's a lot of foreign names coming all at once.
Yes, yes.
And
shout out to old Rick Moranis for doing Louis Tully.
Yes.
Because good lord, that guy is an amazing actor.
He really is. I wish
He was able to get into the character so well. I just going back and forth between the personalities and everything. He did so good in that. And the second movie when he's out there shooting that proton pack thing, and also it dissipates. And
I did it! I'm a Ghostbuster! Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not. Nice try. Try
No,
again.
I have an action figure of Louis Tully as a Ghostbuster. In fact, I have 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a nice segue, right? Let's just move right on to the real Ghostbusters cartoon, which actually started after the first movie and before the second one.
Yes.
And therefore kind of breaks the opening scene of the second movie. Right, because the opening scene of the second movie, they're like going to birthday parties to try and scrape by, and they're like, we got sued by everyone. We can't be the Ghostbusters anymore. Meanwhile, I've been watching the cartoon for 3 years where, like, they're fine.
What happened after the cartoon?
Yeah. Well, and then the cartoon, after the second movie, they add Lewis as a regular character, like... the show keeps going for another couple of years after that.
Jeez.
So, and they start referencing things that happened in the second movie as well.
Okay.
So,
Meanwhile, don't reference anything in the TV show in the movies.
No, not at all.
Not a thing.
No. So, Stephanie, you just saw some of the episodes of the Real Ghostbusters for the first time this week.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you feel about it? Because Josh and I grew up with it, so obviously we're just going to be like, we love it. It's the thing we had as kids. But as a first-time viewer, how did you like it?
If the video on YouTube wasn't so choppy.
Sure, that's fair.
No, so a little background of like old cartoons and things that I've watched. You know, I've watched pretty much a majority of the Scooby-Doos, and I love them to death. I've watched, a little bit of Josie and the Pussycats. I've watched Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry.
So all the stuff that Cartoon Network plays all day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or now that Boomerang plays all day.
Jabba Jaw?
Yeah.
Yes, so I watched
Jabberjaw!
So yeah, I watched a lot of the old like Boomerang Cartoon Network stuff.
Yes.
When I was watching this, the first thing that came to my mind was, that's Freddy. That's Freddy.
Yeah.
That is Freddy.
So, right, because Frank Welker is the voice of Freddy on Scooby-Doo, and he also voices Ray Stantz in The Real Ghostbusters.
He made him smarter.
Yes.
He made him smarter.
Yes. He's also the voice of Slimer in the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, which is... And then Lorenzo Music plays Dr. Peter Venkman. You'll know Lorenzo Music as the voice of Garfield, which is great, because that means that Bill Murray and Lorenzo Music have shared 2 characters.
Yes.
Right, because they're both Peter Venkman, and then
Garfield.
they're both Garfield, because Bill Murray did Garfield in the movies. And then Maurice LaMarche, who you will know as mostly as the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, was the voice of Egon Spengler in the cartoon, and Arsenio Hall was the voice of Winston Zeddemore.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
for like the first season.
Yes. So for the first few seasons, those were the voices. Dave Coulier replaced Lorenzo Music in as Peter Venkman after season 3 or 4.
That was when it switched to Slimer in the Real Ghostbusters, right?
It was like the season before
I just
that.
remember when I was a kid going like, wait, which one is it going to be? Is it going to be Slimer or is it going to be regular? Is it going to be Slimer or is it going to be regular?
Right, yeah.
Because it was going to be a rerun or a new one. So.
And then someone replaced Arsenio Hall, and it's someone famous, and I feel terrible that I can't remember. So I'm going to look it up while you guys vamp.
okay. So based off the couple episodes that I watched, 'cause I didn't watch too much. I just kind of wanted to get a bit of an idea of what you guys were talking about. I actually think I like it a little bit more than I like the movies.
That's fair.
Okay.
Just because I feel like it just flows better as a TV show. That's just me. I think it just flows better as an animated TV show. You got more to work with. You have more elbow room to do whatever the heck you want with it. The other thing about it is that they're tackling subjects that are either historically, mythically, or legendarily accurate.
Yes.
Is that a word? But it's like things that you've heard from legends or myths or history.
Yeah,
and
like
they're
the
tackling that.
Headless Horseman or, one of those
the Headless
things.
Horseman is now the Headless Motorcycleman. And
Right.
And because that was one of the ones I did watch, was that one. And she makes and the woman in that episode makes the comment about how, like, I'm related to Ichabod Crane. And then they show that, and I'm like, And I had this lingering thought in the back of my head. I'm like, has Disney touched this?
Nope.
Because the Ichabod Crane scene where he's riding away from the Headless Horseman to the bridge is the only scene I remember from Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Huh.
It's
Interesting.
the only scene I remember from the Ichabod Deathly Hollow story. And it's like that, and it looked almost identical. I'm like, okay, this is okay. Has Disney touched this?
No, but they probably drew inspiration from Disney's movie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I think it came out around the same time, if not earlier.
Oh, Ichabod and Mr. Crane, or Ichabod and Mr. Toad is way older than Ghostbusters. Yeah.
But yeah, no,
that was like 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, but I liked it. It was enjoyable.
Okay.
It kind of very much fits the vibe of kind of like the Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah.
Of like,
you get the ghost of the week kind of thing.
You get the ghost of the week, and then you have to stop them, and then they figure out ways to stop them. And it seemed like in the 3 episodes I watched, Ray is the smart person.
Yes. Yeah.
Ray is a smart person, and yet they don't give him enough credit in the movies.
No.
And then Peter is the frat boy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very much so.
Buster Jones was the replacement voice for Winston Sedmore.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a lot of cartoons on DVD that I watched as a kid, right? I have all of the 1987 Ninja Turtles. I have all of Thundercats. I have a whole bunch of, Cops, the Central Organization of Police Specialists.
Yeah.
I have the Earthworm Jim cartoon, Freakazoid, Tiny Toons, blah, blah, blah. Real Ghostbusters might be the one that still holds up the best out of all of those shows.
Okay.
Like, it's that and Animaniacs, I think, are the
I was
two.
going to say, like, Animaniacs.
Yeah. Like, but
Sorry, now to my
no,
head.
that's okay. I would say that those two shows, but definitely surprisingly Real Ghostbusters, because most of the action cartoons don't hold up super great.
No.
Right.
As much as I loved He-Man as a kid, you go back
Right.
and watch it now, it's just like, oh, gosh.
Right, and as much as I love
Yeah.
Transformers and have come to reappreciate G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
like, Real Ghostbusters is a much better show.
Well, and it was also, the Real Ghostbusters was made for a different purpose than those other shows were. Those other shows were more for pushing toys.
Sure.
And that was the inspiration they got, was from the toys to make the cartoon to sell the toys.
Whereas Ghostbusters already had the movie
they
to
already had
establish the
movie to
characters.
and they
Right.
went, okay, how can we make this more for kids and sell some toys at the same time?
Right.
We already
Right.
have our
Yeah.
inspiration, and
Yep.
then we have the toys. Not
Yep.
we have the toys, then we have our cartoon, and then
Right.
we have the
Right.
toys to push.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also they had they had like J. Michael Straczynski was one of the writers.
Yeah. Well,
and
to be fair, though, a lot of those toy cartoon shows
a lot of those
had J. Michael Straczynski running them as well.
Yeah, but none of the Hasbro ones did.
Oh,
so, fair
interesting.
enough,
Okay.
fair enough.
None of the Hasbro ones had J. Michael Straczynski. Turtles did not. Most of the ones I watched did not.
Well, Turtles, though, that's also, you can't count that one because it was a comic book
It's true.
before it was
It's
a toy.
True. It's
so,
true.
it is more in line with the Ghostbusters because
Yes.
it had inspiration to draw from before they created the toys in the cartoon.
Yes and no. The Turtles cartoon was made. So Eastman and Larry were like, we want to make toys out of our comic book characters.
Yeah.
And Playmate said, we'll do it, but you need a cartoon to go along with it to to advertise the toys, basically.
But it still had inspiration to draw from before there were toys or a cartoon.
It did. Yeah. But I still think Ghostbusters holds up better than Ninja Turtles does.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, and I'm not saying Ninja Turtles is bad. I'm not saying that any of those shows are bad. I just think that of the shows that I watched as a kid that I have gone back and revisited, Ghostbusters holds up amongst the best.
Turtles is very dated in the vernacular in it. It's
absolutely,
very cemented at that point in time. Whereas
that late 80s, early 90s
Yeah,
stuff.
the Ghostbusters, the cartoon is, there's some of those references and things, like especially like when they pick up a phone or anything like that, or
but I would
go
say
to a computer. But
I would say that technology is the only thing that dates Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no it'll be occasional pop culture references that'll date it, but nothing too overt that immediately is immediately jarring.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas Ninja Turtles, it's pure
it's very
80s,
set in
90s,
between 88 and 96. Yeah.
I will say the one thing, though, about the Real Ghostbusters cartoon is for those that are just casual moviegoers and at least seen the first one. So a lot of people my age who've just probably seen the first one, probably not seen the second one.
Yeah.
Debated about the 2016 one.
Yeah.
They don't know the Real Ghostbusters exists.
No.
It is completely fallen off the map.
Or the cartoon that came after it.
The Extreme Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Very
even that one.
rarely, very, very, very few people realize that one exists, which
Right.
is shocking because it was a great cartoon.
Yeah, so
But it gets overlooked a lot.
I remember when Extreme Ghostbusters came out, and I was kind of at that, I was 15, 16, whatever, and I was sort of like, yeah, I don't know that I need to watch more ghost. Like, I was kind of that annoying asshole that was just like, oh, it's not my Ghostbusters. This isn't the one that I grew up with, so I ignored it, right? And I watched a couple. I watched as much as I could this week, which was a couple of parts of episodes because that's all that was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then before we got in here, I learned that it's on Hulu.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
So actually, all 40 episodes of Extreme Ghostbusters
fantastic.
just sitting on Hulu right now, as of
Nice.
like this week. So
That's nice.
yeah. So I'm definitely
Something else I'm
go
gonna watch this weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check that out. But it was fun. I enjoyed it enough.
No, it wasn't. It's nothing. It's not one of those like, oh, it was the best cartoon ever, but it was a good
Right.
cartoon.
Yeah.
It's quality entertainment. If you like the Ghostbusters and you enjoy animation, watch it.
If you want to watch Ghostbusters: The Next Generation, that's what it is.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that the Ghostbusters 3 that they're writing, or whatever it's going to end up being called, is probably going to take a lot of inspiration from that.
Quite possibly.
Just especially with the diversity and everything in the cast.
Yes,
and I have a sneaking suspicion only it's going to be Ray instead of Egon.
Sure.
Isn't the actor who plays Egon is no longer with us?
Unfortunately, he has passed.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about something in a minute. That you can still get a little bit of him as Egon.
Yeah.
But so it'll be interesting to see how they do the upcoming movies.
Yeah.
But let's also talk a little bit about Ghostbusters 2016 since we mentioned it a minute ago.
Yeah. I've only seen it one time.
Yeah.
Right.
Me as well. Me as well.
But I enjoyed it. Here's the thing. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Ghostbusters 1 or 2, I will say, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't hate that movie at all. Like
The reason I disliked it was because I felt the ghosts and the special effects they used for it were just so out of place because it was like watching the Disney Haunted Mansion movie.
Okay.
Or Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
From the, what I mean? It didn't feel like the ghosts were Ghostbuster ghosts. You know what I mean? Like even they felt just even more cartoony than the cartoon ghosts felt.
Okay.
They felt way too over the top as far as the ghosts went. Like, especially with like for some reason it just took me completely out of the movie when the ghost with the long legs, doing
the one of the stilts or whatever.
Immediately went, oh, this is Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
It immediately screamed Scooby-Doo Monster Island to me. I was just like, okay, I'm done. Like.
Okay.
That was the point where it soured for me completely.
Interesting.
Because I really enjoyed Chris Hemsworth in that movie.
He's so good.
I thought he was great. He was fun.
Is it Kate McKinnon? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She is amazing.
She is so good in that
movie.
movie.
Was funny. I'm a gigantic Kristen Wiig fan.
Okay.
So that's what got me in the door.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the special effects took
the ladies and Chris in that movie were just phenomenal. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen them in other stuff to know
they
are
did everything they could with what they were given.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
That's the other thing,
Yes.
right? Like when you get it's not the actor's fault when they're handed a mediocre or bad script.
Because I think the biggest problem that this movie had for it was this wasn't a Dan Aykroyd Ghostbusters movie.
Right.
And say what you want. Like you can have an opinion on Dan Aykroyd all you want, but he and Harold Ramis.
Yeah, they wrote the first movie.
They wrote the first two movies.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah.
So, and the video game, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But it's of course it's not going to be the same if the person that wrote the first two didn't write the next one.
Right.
So it probably would that movie probably would have been a blockbuster if they decided to call it something else or.
And that's Steph and I were talking about that a little bit yesterday, where I was like, if they had not called that movie Ghostbusters, people would have been like, dude, this movie's great. It's just like Ghostbusters, but with chicks.
Yeah.
Right. Instead, it was like, guys, it's Ghostbusters. It's Ghostbusters, and people were like, it's not Ghostbusters.
They tried to hammer the these are the Ghostbusters and do everything they could to pretend like the old ones didn't exist.
I mean, whatever. There's reboots all the time, and some of them are good, some of them are not, and some of them people like, and some of them people don't. You know,
and I think it was just kind of the wrong reboot at the wrong time.
The timing was a little.
It was just, especially with them trying to get the other one made for so long, and people and fans of the franchises waiting, and then Harold Ramis dies, and
and I think it was because Harold Ramis died satisfied that they finally were like, fine, let's do a Ghostbusters
Yeah.
movie. Hey, we can't get the original 4. Let's do something else.
Yeah.
And it
You
had
know?
to do with like a lot of rights things too,
Sure,
and
yeah,
studios,
yeah.
and like there's
Probably
a lot
that.
of ins and outs to it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But as far as being a movie, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not great. It's not terrible,
Yeah.
right? I've certainly watched worst movies
Yeah.
in theaters the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, thinking back on it, I was talking to somebody else about like how I felt like it was Scooby-Doo kind of thing, and it actually made me wish, I was like, I kind of wish it had been a Scooby-Doo Ghostbusters crossover movie, because that would have I kind of would have been invested in that at that
Yeah.
point. You know,
Yeah.
just, if they had done it like throw the Globetrotters in there too,
Yeah.
I'd have been sold.
Yeah.
It would. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So I have not seen the 2016 one.
Okay.
When it came out, there was obviously the whole controversy
Yeah.
of like, if you see it, if you don't see it, if
Yeah.
you're this or you're that. It's like, calm down, it's a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a
And-
movie. It's not the end of the world,
No,
you guys.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's about the end of the world, but it's not.
Yeah, no, but I think it was just a timing thing that I just never got to go see it.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of the thing, like, if it's on TV, I'll watch it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did do a little bit of research, at least on it, for this episode.
Okay.
However, what I will say is any Ghostbusters that I have taken in,
Yeah.
not going to say against my own free will, but,
No, but-
just that I've taken in recently
Yeah.
has been...
No, we forced her. We straight Clockwork Orange her and made her watch the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, you guys
Don't
let me
her
walk
joke
out.
about it.
You guys let me walk out on Game of Thrones talk. We forced Stephanie
Yeah,
to sit down.
we did. We put her in the
It's
studio.
not true at all.
Straight
No,
Clockwork
no, it's
Orange
not.
style.
I just lent her the movies.
yeah, that's all he did.
I was like, here, you can watch these.
No, but the only other like Ghostbuster stuff that I really had been exposed to since at least before I sat down and I watched the
Yeah.
second movie and a bit of the cartoon was the brief bit of Ghostbusters that was in Stranger Things.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay.
the AZ Ghostbusters, which is a cosplay group with their own like Ghostbuster mobile here in Phoenix, and so that's really the only
Yeah.
thing I had been exposed to.
Okay.
Also, the song. I can't get enough of that song.
That just made me remember something when I was a kid.
Yeah.
This is a childhood, a very fond memory from when I was a kid. When we had just moved to California, and it was probably 85-ish or so.
Okay.
And we were stuck on the freeway in the middle of California, just, LA traffic and everything. And just, I was a kid in the car with my dad, and all of a sudden he goes, hey, stand up, look at this. And I stood up in the back seat and looked out the front window.
Uh-huh.
And they were filming a movie or
Okay.
filming something. I don't know what it was or anything, but all of a sudden you can see through the traffic. Blue lights coming down the road, and then there's the Ecto-1 driving straight by on the road. with a
that's
bunch of cop cars and stuff
amazing.
around it and everything else. I don't know what, it was probably some kind of promotional thing.
Sure,
Some weird,
yeah.
I have no idea what it was.
just
I
seeing
was a kid,
Ecto-1,
but
like, yeah,
getting to
that's
see it
awesome.
in real life as a kid. It could have just been some remake one that they were
Sure.
doing for
Yeah.
who knows what it was.
Right.
It didn't matter. To me
was-
as a kid,
yep,
I just
you-
got to see
you
the
saw
freaking
Ecto-1.
Ghostbusters. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I didn't stop talking about that for weeks. Everybody going yeah, I was in the car. I was in the car with you when we saw it.
Yeah.
I saw him too.
Speaking of things that people will talk about for weeks,
Yeah.
Have either of you guys read any of the IDW Ghostbusters comics?
Nope.
A couple of them I didn't really get super into them. It was just
Okay.
more of oh hey, I'll check out one of these,
Yeah.
on the shelf kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of reading through it, or a grab bag of comics. Oh, here's a Ghostbusters one.
Yeah. Okay.
so.
I'm not entirely caught up on them, but I've got a good chunk of them.
Yeah.
Probably the first few years digitally, and I really enjoy those. If you want more Ghostbuster stories with the original 4,
Yeah.
and you're okay with new stories, because part of the thing I found with the Ghostbuster fans, a lot of people are I just like the first movie and that's it. And it's
Yeah.
okay, that's cool, but there's so much more you can do with that franchise,
Yeah.
right? And I really like that the comics do more. Walter Peck's a regular character, Janusz Pajo's a regular character, and they do new stuff with those guys, right? And kind of revisit some of the highlights and stuff. But they keep doing new things, and
Yeah.
it's like having the real Ghostbusters, except it can be different at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Right? Because the old cartoons, everything resets at the end of the show,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can jump in at any point. This is no, there's actually consequences and stakes. And there's one point where all 4 original Ghostbusters get sucked into another dimension, and then Janine and Kylie from Extreme Ghostbusters, and then the girl that Peter was dating at the time, and a bootleg Ghostbuster from the in-universe became the new Ghostbusters, and they reset the title to number 1.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
it's number 1 of the new Ghostbusters with these 4 not Ghostbusters.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the end of that, they had rescued the originals and stuff, and so there were just a bunch of Ghostbusters now. But it was like, this is actually really cool. Yeah, and they've done crossovers they crossed over the comic book universe with the real Ghostbusters and with the movie versions and with the 2016 version. So there's like a multiverse of Ghostbusters, and each one is its own thing, but they all reference each other as canon.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool, like, yeah, all right, you're working with a supernatural...
Take that in game.
Yeah, right?
So...
Yeah.
Speaking of the multiverse, there is one other Ghostbusters we haven't really talked about yet.
Yeah,
that's going to be the 2009 Atari video game.
Yeah.
The actual core 4 Ghostbusters all returned. And did their own voices for that. It was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. Okay. Well, I should say entirely. It was a video game, so the video game company had to do scripting and things like that for certain events. But as far as overall, they had full executive over it. They wrote majority of the dialogue, things like that. You know, it was, and obviously they voice acted it as well. And they continue the story. It takes place a couple weeks after 2 is over.
I believe, so I haven't played the game.
Yeah.
But I did watch the cutscenes in preparation for today's episode.
Years. It might have been a couple years.
Yeah, it looked like it said it took place in 1991, which gives it a couple of years after Ghostbusters 2. I like that Brian Doyle Murray plays the new mayor in that.
Yeah.
I like that Walter Peck comes back.
Yeah, he came back as well.
Yeah.
They didn't get Sigourney Weaver because she was weary about doing a video game at the time.
Sure.
But they did get Alyssa Milano. She came in and played a character.
Oh, is that who played Alyssa? Yes. Was Alyssa Milano.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
It was a tongue-in-cheek little thing that they write in the script. Like, we'll just call her Alyssa. Yeah. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But she did it. They didn't get Rick Moranis because he's retired.
Right.
So they were able to get him to come back. But like you said, they got Peck to come back.
As many as people as they could.
They even got Vigo to come back and voice Vigo again.
Oh, really?
In the painting,
Oh, okay.
It's actually in the Ghostbusters, the firehouse in the game. You can go walk up to the painting, and Vigo will taunt you and talk and kind of give you like little hints and things.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's kind of fun. Like, lots of tongue-in-cheek references and Easter eggs and things in that game.
So the thing that I will say about, and again, I haven't played it. I just watched the cutscenes, which I know is the worst thing to do. But
if you don't have the option to play the game, it's the best thing. Your best option.
And I wanted to experience some of it, right? Yeah. My only complaint about that is that it's a little too self-referential, right? Like it's good. Like if you want a proper sequel to the first movie that takes place after Ghostbusters 2, it's really good. The problem is you really have to know the first movie for it to work.
I could see that.
Yeah, it is definitely not you can jump in at any point like the cartoon. Right. It's not that kind of thing. And I mean, even when it was coming out, they said at the time, I mean, you can find quotes from Dan Aykroyd all the place saying like, this is Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
This is the closest we're ever going to get.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was true. They were able to get Bill Murray to come back and voice Peter Venkman again because it was just a voice acting thing. He was perfectly fine with it. They were able to do a lot of stuff that they weren't able to do for a movie that they were able to get, grease the bright palms and everything and able to make that. And they had said a couple times that the script for the movie was or for the game was more or less
what they would have
done for a third.
Yeah.
Just obviously there were still things that weren't because they had to make a video game out of it.
Right, obviously.
But for the most part, that was kind of the story they were looking at for how it all wraps up and who the big bad guy was and everything like that with it.
Yeah, and it's... there are a lot of really cool ideas in there. I enjoyed watching it, but like I said, I think it doesn't add anything to the franchise, right? And that's kind of like, and again, I'm not saying it's bad, but for my taste, I want more Ghostbusters. I want new things, right? One of the things I like about the cartoon and the fact that it holds up is that like every episode there is a new monster. Like we know who Sam Hain is. He's the big pumpkin head.
Yeah.
The Boogeyman is an awesome character in Ghostbusters. We didn't even talk about some of the recurring characters from that, right? I like, Janosch and Vigo being things that, right? I like that the comics have added. The game didn't add anything. It just
I'm wondering
deeper
maybe
into
because it's the cutscenes that you didn't get enough of it. Because there's so much.
The whole plot of it just revolves around Gozer and Ivo Shandor.
It does, but there's so much that they set up for like why Ivo did the things he did and what Gozer was and like I don't know that you probably got some of that because a lot of it was literally like you're running through a lobby of the hotel and you're getting exposition from Peter or Ray about what's going on.
So there could have been some of that missing, but and just kind of the overall plot, right? And I'm not saying it's bad.
There's a part in the game where you're in the library and you're underneath Central Park Library.
Right.
You're doing everything, and they start talking about just the history of Ivo and everything like that, and they find out oh, holy cow, he designed a ridiculous amount of New York City.
Yeah.
And they start going to how he did all these, and just it gets really in depth and everything. And it almost kind of wraps it up as a trilogy and ties all three of them together with the Ivo and the Vigo and everything so you realize okay, Vigo was able to have this power because Ivo did this. And because his painting got brought here, he was able to harness the energy from these things that Ivo did, and just all these little different bits and pieces.
Again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not to my taste.
No, that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's also, unless you're playing the game, it's kind of hard to to get the grasp.
And that is why I definitely specified. I haven't played it. I just watched the cutscenes.
And to get it, you have to watch. There's a 4-hour long cut that somebody did. They went through and played the game, got every cutscene, got all the exposition in between cutscenes, actually cut up some pieces of the game and put them in different orders to actually make it a movie.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You get an actual, but it is 4 hours long.
Right, and the version I watched was an hour and 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, so there's a good 3 hours worth of dialogue and exposition and things like that you don't get in it. And when you go into, you have to remember, it's a video game that they cut into a movie, so there are pacing problems occasionally, but it's just kind of a fun little take on it because it's the closest that you'll ever get to a Ghostbusters 3 with the original 4 Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's we're ever going to get.
And that's great.
Yeah. It holds a very special place in my heart because of that. So.
Yeah.
It's great. So if you get a chance, go out and check it out. But Ghostbusters, wonderful. Love them.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I learned today is I'm just a neutral fan over here. Yeah. Just because I had to do a lot of research for this because at the time the only one I had seen was the OG.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I feel like I've learned a lot about this universe. Will that make me jump in and want to bust some ghosts? I'll think about it, but I definitely have a bigger appreciation now for this universe.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it holds up well enough that even Stephanie was like, "No, this is fun. This is cool."
Oh no, I've already enjoyed the films.
Sure,
I already loved all this stuff. It's just kind of neat to know that it's expansive this much.
Yeah,
and
to someone who doesn't know this, they just think it's a single movie. They got a reboot, and then nobody else cares.
Yeah. So if you enjoy Ghostbusters in any shape or form of any of the content that we've talked about, go check out some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
You never know. If you've only seen the movies, go check out some of the cartoons. You might really enjoy them. If you have access to a Xbox 360 or PS3, go to your local GameStop or used bookstore or whatever. See if you can find a copy of it.
They'll probably be there. The game sold pretty well. So.
When they stopped talking about it, it sold 10 million copies or something like that. So
Holy crap.
it sold a bunch. But you can find it out there. It was PC and everything else too. So you can find it. You can find these episodes.
It's probably just on Steam.
Yeah, I don't know anymore because of Atari licensing. That works anymore. I don't know if you can get the digital. I think you have to find a physical copy of it now because of licensing stuff.
It's out there. You can check it out.
Out there. You can check it out. There's cartoons out there that you can find streaming all over the place. Versus Hulu, YouTube.
Yeah,
where there's a will, you can find it.
Yeah, you can also check out Atomic Monsoon on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Email us. Check out our Redbubble. We're on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe.
Oh, I gotta put last episode's week up on. Yeah, I gotta put the last episode up on YouTube still. I haven't done that yet.
Well, check us out there. Check us out at all the usual spots. Let us know any of those locations if there's anything that you want us to talk about specifically on the episodes.
Or let us know your favorite parts of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there you go.
Even if you just put a quote that's just like
this one line.
You didn't say please.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Or thud thud thud. Let me in.
Yeah. To give you guys kind of an idea of what we'll probably be talking about next week, but it's also something for any of you that are located pretty much in the state of Arizona and are planning to go to Phoenix Fan Fusion, which is 2 weeks from today.
Yes.
We will be on Thursday the 23rd at noon doing a live broadcast from the con, so make sure you guys check it out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be there live. You can come see us in person and
yay!
Never want to look at us again.
No, but you still might want to listen to us.
I mean,
so
yeah.
come check it out anyway.
So, but we'll make sure. But come check us out if you're going to be there. And that's all I have.
You'll want to look at Stephanie. She's pretty.
I'll be in costume.
Hopefully, we all will.
Be
We'll
in
see.
costume or
Yeah.
be pretty?
Costume. I'm never pretty.
Okay.
But
The
wait,
lights off and turned around. I'm still not pretty.
Can I cosplay as Josh? Can
That'd
I
be
do that?
hilarious.
that, as long as you get consent. I mean, because he's right here, so you just ask.
Yeah. Josh, can I cosplay as you?
Sure.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So, all right. That's all, folks.
Have a good one.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.